Roulette strategies are just an example of gambler's fallacy. You've probably heard a fair amount of people make this statement, and if you haven't, then just check out the comment section of almost every single roulette strategy video I've ever done. But I strongly disagree with this statement, and in this video, I'm going to explain why. To be honest, some roulette strategies do use gambler's fallacy and are straight up nonsense, but there are good roulette strategies that separate the fallacy with sound mathematical principles, and I'm going to do my best to highlight the one key difference that sets them apart. Now, before I get started, I need you to do me a favour, and I very rarely ask this right at the start of the video. But this video will probably bring herds of people triggered by the title that have already made up their mind and think all roulette strategies are just gambler's fallacy, and they'll click on it just to dislike it without even watching what I have to say. So please, after watching the video, if you agree with the points I make, please help it out by giving it a thumbs up and share it with a friend. You can even give it a thumbs down if you disagree, but please let me know why in the comments. So that we're all on the same page, let's start with a definition of gambler's fallacy. According to Google, it's the belief that if an event has occurred more frequently than expected, it is less likely to happen again in the future. So for example, in the game of roulette, if the colour red has occurred multiple times in a row, then believing the next spin must be a black number would be gambler's fallacy. And as you've seen in the comment section of roulette videos, there's often people stating each individual spin does not affect future events. And credit where credit is due, they are absolutely right, but they are also missing the point. We have a saying in the casino industry that the roulette ball has no memory. It doesn't know that the last 10 numbers it landed in were red, and now it's decided it's going to land in a black one to even things up a bit. But that's not what roulette strategies are betting on. It might look like it, but there's actually sound mathematical reasoning behind good roulette strategies. Let me show you with two systems. We'll start with the most famous, and then move on to my personal favourite. The Martingale System, many people would say, is an absolute prime example of gambler's fallacy. Well, let me explain why I disagree, and why there have been adaptations to this system, like the Tripling-gale, that use sound mathematical probabilities to increase your probability of winning. To a regular player, it might look like by doubling your bet each time you lose, you are essentially doing so because you believe that because an event has occurred more frequently than expected, it is less likely to happen again in the future, which is the very definition of gambler's fallacy, and some people may very well be taking that approach if they have not come fully prepared. But if you're a smart gambler, you'll approach the Martingale from a different perspective that isn't being manipulated by gambler's fallacy. Let me explain. If we decide to play the Martingale system with a starting bet of $1, we know that after 6 losses in a row, we will have lost $63. But we also know that the probability of losing 6 even chance bets in a row on a single roulette wheel is 1.9%, that's 0.52% to the power of 6. And this is the statement that sends the comment section into a frenzy. Each individual spin does not affect future spins, they cry. Yes, I've already agreed with that statement. The previous result does not affect the next result. But as we're playing the Martingale system, we know that the only way we lose our $63 is if we lose 6 bets in a row. Therefore, in essence, the entire bet is that we won't lose 6 bets in a row. We know the probabilities stay the same each individual spin. We're simply betting that we won't lose each individual spin 6 out of 6 times. And if we win this bet, which we will 98.1% of the time, then we will win our $1 profit. The key difference that sets roulette strategies apart from regular gambler's fallacy is the decision to play out the strategy at the start of the betting experience. Seeing 5 red numbers in a row and then claiming the probability of the next number being red is now just 1.9% would be gambler's fallacy. After 5 red numbers, even after 1,000 red numbers, the probability of the next number being black is still 48.6%. That's considering the green zero, of course. By committing our $63 to playing the Martingale system, we're making the bet that the next 6 spins are any other combination rather than red, 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 red. Flip this concept on its head for a moment. If we were to bet the next 6 spins were all going to be red, then the casino would give us 63 to 1 odds of this happening. Our $1 bet would double up to $64 after 6 red numbers in a row, giving us a $63 profit. All that's happened is we've just decided to be the house and bet against that outcome happening. The Martingale system isn't the only example of making a bet that you won't lose a certain number of spins in a row, or in other words, a certain combination of results won't occur. One of the most popular videos on my channel is the video explaining the Fibonacci sequence, and there's hundreds of people proclaiming that the sequence is just a fancy way to hide gambler's fallacy. But if you're a regular and subscribe to the channel, you'll appreciate that it's not. By going into the Fibonacci sequence with the correct bankroll, we're basically making the bet we're not going to lose a certain amount of bets in a row and lose our bankroll. Many smart roulette players enjoy the Fibonacci system because it's not as aggressive as the Martingale system, as you increase your bets incrementally rather than doubling them after every loss. Of course, with the Fibonacci system, because we're betting on columns or dozens, we have a higher probability of losing each spin and therefore need to realistically prepare for longer losing streaks. But theoretically, these types of roulette strategies could guarantee you a profit. You just keep on playing until you inevitably hit a winning bet. This is why casinos have had to intervene to avoid finding themselves losing money every night. If Jeff Bezos turned up at a roulette table with no table maximum bet, he could play the Martingale or the Fibonacci sequence all day long, knowing that he won't hit a losing bet after losing bet forever. Eventually, he would land a winning spin and the betting strategy would turn into profit. But of course, that isn't reality, and casinos don't want players to have systems that could theoretically guarantee a profit. And that's why they introduced table limits. On a roulette table with a $1 minimum bet and a $100 maximum bet, the casino has now forced your betting system to only allow you to have 6 losses before you're unable to increase your bet any higher. That's why, if you're interested in trying some of these roulette strategies yourself, it's important you keep an eye on the table limit ratios, a factor many players ignore when trying out new roulette strategies. A casino that offers roulette tables with higher table limit ratios is going to be your best bet. If you would like a quick way to find the best casinos with the best roulette tables for you, then you can complete the 2-minute quiz using the link in the description and I'll point you in the right direction. What do you think? Did this explanation make sense? Is this all just gambler's fallacy, or do these roulette strategies use mathematical probabilities to make informed decisions? If you'd like to know more about an interesting roulette strategy that I think uses mathematical probabilities really well, then you should watch this video next.